So Tracy, we were just speaking with Carson, and we're going around the country. Thank you so much for having us here at your home on our 50-state tour. I mean, I've never been to Oregon, and your home is beautiful. This property is gorgeous.
Thank you.
And I haven't interviewed anybody as young as Carson either. He's 9 years old. He's a wise 9, and his passion is to encourage others. Tell me why you think, or how you think Carson became so wise at such a young age.
That's a very good question. I'm not, perhaps the way he was raised. We didn't tell him about his brother having Down syndrome until he was older, and until he was about 6 years old, I believe. Craig and I took him out to eat, and we thought it was just the right time in his life to share that with him and put a label on it, to call it something. He always wondered why all these speech pathologists were coming to the house and why they always got to work with Corbin but never him, and they always had fun things to do and treats, and why are they always coming for Corbin? And we just explained it that Corbin needs a little extra help with his words, just like Mom needs help with her eyes, and that's why I wear glasses. So I think in growing up and how we have hopefully been role models. I was also a special ed teacher, that he's learned and grown to become a very incredible kid. We're very blessed. So
now I know that you and Craig both have had struggles of your own.
Yes, great struggles. I was a teacher in Oregon for 16 years, and Craig was also working in one of our classrooms up at the high school, and he was attacked by a high school student, a very violent kid, and ended up having a back surgery because of that. He needed a tri-level fusion.
What other struggles have you dealt with?
I was pregnant, and we didn't know we were having a child with Down syndrome, which I was very grateful for that. So after Craig got his surgery, I had to go back to work, and Craig was able to be at home for all the speech pathologists and the physical therapist and everyone coming into our home. Not only that, he was able to tell me what the homework was, how the sessions went, to be able to show me what the physical therapy exercises were, and to be able to do them. So it was almost a blessing in disguise that, Craig was home. If we could have had it differently, of course we wouldn't want a back injury to have us in those circumstances, but I don't think Corbin would be doing so well today if it wasn't for Craig being home and being available.
And after his back surgery, he had heart surgery.
Yeah.
And then after that, you got ill.
I did. I got ill. So here I'm a special ed teacher, taking care of students, teaching students with severe disabilities, so people like Corbin with Down syndrome and autism. And then, having my son after, 6 years of being a teacher, and then my husband becoming disabled. And I started, my back was really starting to hurt, and the fatigue, and was really hard to get up and go to work, and I was running out of sick leave. So I finally was diagnosed with fibromyalgia through a rheumatologist, and had to quit working. And it was very hard, so I was trying to do things to get better. And then, I can't remember, maybe 6 months later, my knee started bothering me, and I thought I'd hyperextended it, and I went in and had an MRI done, and they looked at the images and found the synovial fluid in my knee was not okay, and it was confirmed at that point that I did have rheumatoid arthritis, and they said, we're going to start you on chemo. And the chemo portion of that was a lot harder to take than the actual diagnosis of rheumatoid arthritis. I knew I had had that for probably 2 years before I was actually diagnosed with it. My blood work, my blood count was coming out as positive, then negative, then positive, then negative. But once they saw that MRI of my knee, it was confirmed.
So for chemotherapy, I mean, this is an ongoing thing that you have to do, right?
It is.
Shots
Yes.
once a week?
Yes, it is. Every Sunday evening. It can make that Monday a little difficult. That old saying of, well, oh, Monday's back at work. Well, my Mondays just look a lot different today. And the worst part is just the thought of it. Craig comes in and he does it with me. The kids are in bed. They do not know I have this disease, nor that I do the shots. Everything's been hidden and locked up. But we just say a prayer and kind of do a meditation over the shots and say, just hope that this is the right thing for me to be doing right now, and that I'm trusting the doctors for me right now. May it heal me and keep this nasty disease aside. So the worst thing about the chemo is that my I don't know if the chemo brain or chemo fog or whatever that's the hardest thing to deal with. So I had a hard time with name retrieval, so now I really have a hard time with name retrieval. But it is what it is, and I just write things down and really try to stay in the moment and take it day by day. I can't be worried about if I was in bed or not yesterday, or what tomorrow might look like. I just plan on getting it done, and if I get it done, I get it done. So.
Well, and something that I've been noticing is that while Carson says his passion is to encourage other people, I see the same in you. Mm-hmm. And the energy in your home is a very happy energy despite all of these challenges that you're going through. I mean, and even to the point where talk about encouraging other people, you're encouraging Carson to, get these shirts out there and make a difference in the world. You like to volunteer, and you still, in the few conversations we've had, are talking about what you can do for others despite all of these challenges that you have here that you're faced with.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, it's definitely been a struggle, and just really staying in the moment has just helped. Part of the volunteering is that I don't want to be a drain on society, which I really felt 2 years ago, and how I was really defined as being a teacher. And when I couldn't do that any longer, I was really lost. So I did a lot of searching and did some incredible coursework and a lot of work to find out what my mission is, what my passion is. So.
And what is your mission?
Now it is helping others. We have some water machines that we're finding incredible success with helping other people. Anywhere from cancer to my rheumatoid arthritis. It's helped me get out of bed also. And just seeing how it's helped my family and friends is just incredible. And the t-shirts, and also I wrote a book 16 years ago about it, children with disabilities, that I haven't seen in 16 years, and I found it. So.
Where did this passion start for you?
I don't know. I've always had an interest for people with disabilities, always. When I was in 3rd grade, Carson's age, we lived in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and we had Special Olympics, Winter Olympics, and we got to host the children, the students. So we had a girl with Down syndrome, my age, Martha, that would come for 2 years in a row and stay, and then we had an older gentleman who'd come, and that was my brother's age. And Martha and I, we had 2 twin beds next to each other, and we'd sit up all night and just laugh and giggle, and it was so silly. And that always meant a lot. Always meant a lot to me. I think of her. I was also, in middle school and high school, going over to the elementary school, and I'd always pick the kids that might have been struggling. I also have a learning disability, so I felt those kids and what they're going through and those struggles. So I always was attracted to maybe the underdog, I don't know what you might want to call them, those that need a little bit extra encouragement.
Exactly. So how did you feel when you realized that your son had Down syndrome?
It was actually very difficult. My husband was incredible. He's like, whoa, doesn't make me love him anymore, can't love him anymore, And my first reaction was, we have a Special Olympian. And I just sat in the hospital bed and just cried. And Craig's just sitting in the hospital bed, and we just held each other. And the doctor's sitting in the chair beside us, and she's, cuddling on Corbin. And after she had told us, she took Corbin and just sat in the room. But it was a challenge. It was.
Do you think it's because you knew what this meant for him, because you did have experience with special needs kids?
No, it was just the acceptance. I think that it maybe wasn't what everyone hopes that they have a healthy child with 10 fingers and 10 toes. Mine was just a little bit different. If I plan a trip like I'm going to Alaska, and I'm going, end up in Germany, where it's different. It's a different language. It's a different, currency. It's a different, everything is different. So I wouldn't change it for the world. Now, a lot of that was just my own acceptance, my own, but it's made me stronger in who I am, and really learning to stay in today. I remember being out in the backyard with Carson a while back, and we were digging an old stump, and Corbin was in there, and it's like, oh, what's that? Centipede, ooh, and we're playing, and okay, Mom, we'll dig some more. And Corbin got up and did something quacky, his Corbinism, whatever, and I looked at Carson, and he looked at me, and I said, what would we do without him? What would we do without him?
Yes. What do you think, though, that you have learned about yourself?
That just because I might be limited in my physical abilities, it doesn't define me. And there's so much more that I can do, and not just physically. I can still help in the world, help people, and learn.
What kind of advice would you give others about this, about getting out there, learning and helping others?
It's probably one of the biggest gifts I can receive is helping others and getting out of my own yuck. We like to give, and it used to be about the receiving end of that, and now it's the give with no receiving, and with that comes the love and the understanding and all of that. So it's a process, and I've learned more in the last couple years with me unable to work than I have in my whole entire lifetime. So I finally feel like I've woken up. So, and if it takes a disability to learn that, so be it. So, a lot to be grateful for.
And you used to be angry, right?
Oh, so angry. So angry. Just that here I was taking care and teaching children with disabilities. And then I have a son with disabilities. And then my husband became disabled with his back and this congenital heart condition. And now me. And now me. So yeah, I went through a definite period of feeling a victim because I was so defined by my being a teacher.
You're still a teacher.
Yeah, sure am. Just looks different.
I get sensitive when I talk about this stuff. Because it's real. Yeah. Good job.
And I talk to you, 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 and we love, and we hate, and we demonstrate, we try to relate. This is my breakthrough.